Well, the decision to become a lawyer was secondary. I first wanted to be a priest. I applied to be a priest in the Society of Jesus. But after some processing, they told me I don't have the vocation. It was Bishop Escaler who wrote my mother after 3 Jesuits interviewed me, including Bishop Escaler. They said that my vocation lies outside of the Society of Jesus. My father is a lawyer, practicing lawyer, and he was very disappointed, although actually he was happy because he said to his friends privately that he wanted me to be a lawyer because no one would take up his law books. So actually I was very happy because my mother wanted me to be a priest. She was a very religious woman. And that must have influenced me to apply for the priesthood. My most memorable experience then was having to rewrite what is now Article 6 of the Constitution, which is on the legislative power. When we voted on the committee level, the committee decided in favor of a unicameral legislature, one chamber, to be called National Assembly. Because we patterned it after the 1935, the original 1935 Constitution, drafted by Rector and Laurel, which had the National Assembly unicameral. Okay, so it was a one vote. The committee was tied. Then Chairperson Davide broke the tie. My first drinking water, I said, before I vote, may I have a glass of water? Somebody gave me a glass of water. Okay, my vote is unicameral, Sarasigawan. So we went to the floor because after committee report is submitted to the entire body called the plenary. On plenary, I was the one who presented it as vice chair. Davide said, you presented it. Voting, we lost by one vote. Bicameral won because of my partner in the law office later on, Felicitas Aquino, who was convinced by the argument that there should be two bodies, one to look after the forest, another the trees. No? So one vote. So I had to rewrite what we prepared, what is now Article 6, making it bicameral instead of unicameral. The writ of amparo is a special remedy to enforce constitutional rights other than physical liberty, because the right to physical liberty is already enforced by habeas corpus. Okay. All other rights that are granted by the Constitution don't have a remedy in the Constitution. You will have to look for the remedy in the rules of court, in the statute passed by Congress, but not in the Constitution. The idea of amparo is that the constitutional right should also have a constitutional remedy. And this is found in other constitutions. India, for instance. Now, the inspiration I got was not India. I was inspired by Mexico. That's why it's in Spanish. Amparo means protect. Amparar is to protect in Spanish. The 3 most challenging cases. Every case is challenging. But the most challenging cases we decided, one was one that I did not pen, but I participated. And that was the case of Republic of the Philippines versus Sandigan Bayan, involving Elizabeth Di Maano. Si Elizabeth Di Maano was the girlfriend of General Joseph Ramas. Joseph Ramas had electronic device equipment, and he left it with his girlfriend. 2 words, not 1 word. Girlfriend. Friend and girl. Hindi naman sweetheart. Elizabeth Di Maano. And this was after the EDSA revolution, but before the adoption of the Freedom Constitution. Not the present constitution. There was another constitution adopted by CORE in March of 1986. The effect of a revolution is that all political laws fall to the ground, and the Constitution is the most political of all laws. The first to fall to the ground, 1973 Constitution. After it's a revolution, Talos Marcos, bagsak yung Constitution niya. Wala tayong Constitution. Can the country have no? Yes. That's called an interregnum. We had a constitutional interregnum. But Cory adopted within 1 month another provisional constitution called Freedom Constitution. But during the interregnum, agents of Cory Aquino, agents of the freedom-loving president, seized the properties of Josephus Ramos in the hands of Elizabeth Dimano with a warrant, but defective because it did not describe the properties, so they could not seize that, but it seized it illegally. It reached the Supreme Court. The defense of the government was that they did not violate any law because at that time there was no constitution, and therefore there was no right against illegal search and seizure. There's no constitution. Therefore, the seizure was valid. Ruling of the court, the night participated, penned by Justice Carpio, that even during a constitutional interregnum, fundamental rights are protected. So what protects us is customary international law. And no country can opt out of customary international law. It continues to be binding regardless of the political turmoils of that country, regardless of a constitutional interregnum. And another one was on freedom parks. Freedom parks were mandated by law to be created in every municipality. And not everybody, only 3 or 4 cities, municipalities complied. Freedom Park is a park where a specific place where designated by law or ordinance, where people can assemble and deliver speeches without a permit. No need for permit. Freedom. And under this law, Freedom Park law, every city or state or municipality is required to designate at least one area or park that is a Freedom Park. Only Cebu and Manila complied. No. So what did the Supreme Court do in the case that I penned? Ang sabi ko, until the city or municipality can prove that it has designated a specific place as Freedom Park, every park is presumed to be a Freedom Park. The other one, again, I did not pen it. I went on a vacation called sabbatical. Of course, it's not a junket. You're supposed to attend a conference in that place and report to the court what you learned. It was a conference on the common law. And then I learned something that I brought back. I learned from a delegate from India about continuing mandamos. Wala tayo noon yan eh. Sabi niya, we clean up the river. Kaya na sumagsalita, we clean up the Ganges River. It took us 10 years, but we cleaned it up. How did you do it? We did it through continuing mandamos. Continuing mandamos, no. You're ordered to do something over a period of time. You have to continue doing it 5 years, 10 years. Like clean up the river. Continuing order to clean up the river, 5 years, 10 years. Report to the court every 6 months what you're doing. Okay. Come home. Sabi ko, ano na pag-aralan? Continue mandamos. We had a case to clean up Manila Bay. Sabi ko, lagay mo yan. Prudente si Presby Velasco, lagay mo yan. You order the agencies of the government to clean up Manila Bay over 5 years, 10 years, and report to the court on a continuing mandamos. There's a lot of things to learn in life and in law. So I wish you all the best. Okay?